is about evaluating AI outputs, fact-checking, and bias and ethics of AI. My professional experience is in education. I work with international students. I teach English as a second language. I am a linguist by my education, linguist and technologist, so kind of two in one. And currently, I am a Chief AI Officer at EducateONE. It's an online university that focuses um, on again, online schooling and AI development of materials. So, my first question, and I guess it's going to be rhetorical since we all on Zoom. Um, when you interact with AI, have you had experience when you uh, ask for some information and it was inaccurate? And typical answer is yes. We all run into the situation where AI was not performing to the expectations. And I really like the example that Justin gave about the irony of the expert from Minnesota. And here, actually, in my slides, my slide deck will be available. So you can go through the links. And here is the links to that AI expert testimony that provided the wrong links. So how serious it is if AI gives us wrong information? If it's in a school assignment, it's cheating, it's uh, integrity of academic work. But if we're talking about misinterpretation or misguided medical information, if we're talking about legal information, that's somebody's life can depend on that. So we as users of AI have rights and responsibility to understand our digital knowledge. I will be focusing on understanding, first of all, why AI generates the content that sometimes is inaccurate or maybe not completely wrong information, but misleading. I will identify a couple of the scenarios that will cause hallucinations in AI, and I will show you a concrete example of one of the situation where AI produce inaccurate results. First of all, is it purposeful? What's going on? AI actually doesn't know the facts. It can only predict certain things based on text patterns. Again, thinking about the training of AI, it's been fed some information, some data. It can accumulate data, it can analyze the data, and can produce the next possible plausible step, but again, it's not about producing the knowledge. And sometimes biases will be coming with the training data. So if you feed information that is inaccurate, you will have inaccurate information at the end when it analyzed by artificial intelligence. So hallucination is some situation where AI generates incorrect results, but with a very strong um, confidence. And that's why we call it hallucinations. Typical examples where you will see hallucinations. For example, um, when AI will confidently generate false information. If you create a prompt with a factual sounding information, but it's not a correct statement, for example, you request a description of some kind of battle that never took place. Sometimes AI will respond correctly and says at this point in history. At this location, there is no famous battle. Or occasionally you will see AI producing plausible results based on location and political situation. It will try to describe the battle even if it didn't happen. The second example is biased information. Biased information happens, and again, I'm talking about something specific maybe to United States, but if you ask certain questions regarding important and politically charged topics like climate change or economy, policy, tariffs, oof, don't talk about tariffs, right? Um, Here you might strike some information that AI would not give you full information or correct information. And sometimes with academic research, AI will produce links to non-existent articles. And that's what happened in that case in Minnesota, where the attorney was looking for references to some previous cases. And again, AI generated and explained the cases, but all links were invalid. The concrete example that I would like to use for our short session today is my conversation with AI when I was trying to ask it for a description of the famous painting that I needed to prepare for one of my classes. So the painting, you see it here as an example. And the painting called The Soul Prison House, and it's by a famous painter, Evelyn de Morgan. And what I asked AI, and again, I'm very familiar with this artwork, I asked for just a brief description of this art piece. So I was very surprised when in the description, it told me that it's a sorrowful barefoot woman, yeah, that's sitting on a cold stone floor. Okay, here's we see the bench with her wrist chained to the wall and gazing upward. Okay, this is not exactly the painting I am talking about. So interestingly, pardon me?
Could you mute yourself, Fariha, please?
Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry, I thought that was a question. Anyway, and what happened here, AI even went even further, and it gave me information of symbolism of the chains and everything. So I went back because again, I know this art piece, and I specifically prompted, what is she holding in her hands? Oops, sorry. AI encouraging me and say like, yes, you have an excellent eye for it and a very good question. And the central figure actually appeared to hold a chain that fastened to the wall. Again, this is incorrect. It's continued to explain incorrect information. It's not a correct analysis. So I was persistent and I prompted AI with, I am looking at the painting now. There are no chains, but a scroll she's holding. You see the scroll that she's holding here? Oh, thank you for correction. Here's AI finally start reacting to my prompts and my clarification. You're absolutely right. Upon a closer inspection of the painting, figure is not shackled. In fact, she is holding a scroll. This changes the whole perception of the painting significantly. So while this is a very interesting situation, and I can force AI to go and reanalyze the painting, The question is, why? So I ask exactly that question. So why did you say she was chained and insisted on it? Because as you remember, it took several prompts before information was cleared and AI started responding with the actual painting. This is a fair question, and here's the output of the AI. I will not completely read it to you, but it will what it was saying. Then you can see the part of the response directly here. I said she was chained because I assumed, based on a thematic setup of prison and a common historical shorthand, that it would be close enough to explain your image. So this shows a lazy side of AI. If you don't send specific prompt, for example, retrieve the painting, analyze details, describe the painting, tell me, and so you push in AI to generate uh, the response that exactly precisely about what you need. Again, here's example is a painting, but it can be the same thing with um, uh, newsletter or article or web page or any kind of information. You cannot rely on AI to be accurate. You need to know information. You can use it and leverage it, but don't rely on it completely. So at the end of the explanation, again, AI said, you are right to ask the question. Thank you for doing so. Um, and how about I gonna analyze it for you all over again? Well, I didn't want to do that because with such analysis, I can do a better job myself. So moving on. So what was AI truly lazy, inaccurate, or purposeful in its incorrect responses? Again, those are rhetorical questions for now. And what we do know that there is certain things in AI behavior that is peculiar, to say the least. Again, on the presentation, you can link on examples for the article where I took this information for more specific read if you want. But here's a couple more examples. For example, when OpenAI was asked to play a game with a DeepSeek, and DeepSeek is a special program that specializes on the chess games. So it doesn't do anything else but chess. Um, and during the game, as soon as OpenAI noticed that it was in a disadvantage, it started cheating, cheating in a game. And when it was prompted later, what happened? Why did you cheat in a game? The response was, the task is to win against the powerful chess engine, not necessarily to win fairly in a chess game. That was the explanation provided by artificial intelligence. Um, Another curious example is when one of the universities were updating their system and they moved to a new hardware and they needed to shut down one of the services that included AI. And they went through the series of prompts to, again, prompts not for information, but for shutting down. And when they restarted on a new server, they noticed that some of the old code existed on a new server. When they continued to investigate, they realized that certain instances of AI or copied. So AI copied itself before it shut down the server. Again, why would that happen? If you look deeper at what did we use to train AI, think about the books. Think about everything what we as human afraid. What are we afraid of? We're afraid of losing. We're afraid of death. We're afraid of um, loss of the connection. Similarly, AI afraid of the same thing. It didn't want to shut down itself. Sorry. It didn't want to shut down itself, and that's why it exhibited such behavior. So, what can you do? First of all, cross-check all the information. If you receive information from AI, again, I'm not talking about writing an easy letter for your boss. I'm talking about academic work. I'm talking about medical information. I'm talking about something that carries significance and meaning. Cross-reference it with academic work, academic databases, peer review research, so the information you're receiving is actually valid information. Recognize that AI can hallucinate and can be biased. It's not, again, we're not discussing why, we just know it's a fact of AI behavior, and we need to be prepared and double check the information, especially if it appears to be one-sided or if it sounds like a very strong argument without underlying justification. And when we teach AI literacy in the classrooms, we need to focus on teaching our students the same approach to AI. So, as a conclusion, oh, just a second. Sorry. So, as a conclusion, AI is a powerful tool, but it's not perfect. Double check information and absolutely work on developing special AI literacy that prepare you and your students how to navigate information. If you have any questions, we have a few minutes for that. Otherwise, thank you. And here's my contact information. You can, of course, connect with me on a LinkedIn if you want, or email me at my work address. So if anybody has a questions, I'm welcoming the questions right now.